Hey, what's up, and welcome to the Game Positive Podcast. We're on episode 48, almost at the half-century mark, which is actually not that impressive because I've been doing this for like 6 years. I've just been taking so much time off. Alex is back on a pretty much permanent basis. I think, how many episodes does it take for your permanent house? However many it's been. That's the
exactly.
That's the exact amount needed. What's going on, Alex?
It's pretty good. Happy Tuesday, and excited to talk about more stuff because I like podcasting. It's a good. Let's release some pent up energy that sometimes like we fill up in our Discord chats.
Exactly.
so yeah, I might as well just like say it all in person with the right tones and the right emojis. But good to be back.
Yeah, so. If there was, what is talked about in there will stay in there. But if like a stranger came in and just observed, they would think we all hate each other. But that is not true. That is not true at all. Before we jump into the news, though, right quick, I just want to mention that right at the top because you're supposed to do this. Please, if you enjoy the show or you enjoy the content on the channel, remember to like the video and subscribe. We're currently at 234 subscribers. And I've come to realize as I start applying for some key websites that the 500 mark is you don't exist until you get there. So we're making a big push to get to 500. We're almost halfway there. So, hey, Ralph, I can see you back there. For our video listeners or watchers. So yeah, if you enjoy the content at all, or if you don't, just do it anyway. Just like, subscribe, please, God. But yeah, let's jump into some news topics. There's actually a fair amount of stuff to talk about. Right off the bat, breaking news. PlayStation is rebooting the online game Horizon Hunters Gathering after negative playtest feedback, which, spoilers, half of this show is responsible for this game getting canceled. The new plan is a smaller scope, more traditional co-op multiplayer, and no more live service. Alex, I'll let you take this one. What are your thoughts on this news and Hunter's Gathering in general, perhaps?
So, what a shocker. Another live service blunder for PlayStation. It's borderline comical, just how catastrophic that entire initiative has been for that company that was so hubristic, and despite them knowing what their bread and butter it was, they were like, nah, we'll just bet the entire house in this other thing because we know what we're doing. And in fact, we know how much, we know exactly what we're doing, that we're going to buy a live service experts that say that there's such experts in the field that they're going to lead us to success. And dude, the graveyard of constant like failure after failure after failure after failure that has come straight from first party from PlayStation. It's like you want to laugh instead of crying. Yeah, and second party is like, and that's the thing, like their second party is the only one that gave them any success, and even then they couldn't help but also trip over themselves. And of course, we're talking about Helldivers.
Yeah,
but I was watching. Obviously, this is news that was broken by Jason Schreier. I got to watch his video where he's kind of like detailing more about the entire how bad the initiative was, and probably much more insane like managerial disaster than hearing that the way good old Herman decided to like pursue this is, hey, entire studios are working on this thing, not to the side. It's like entire studios where the literal kind of like bread and butter, we all know what it was. They were like, nah, those are gonna be like in slight pre-production with free people. The entire studio is like betting the house on this thing in a lot of games that ended up not even coming out. And now even freaking Horizon Hunters Gathering, which obviously revealed in February earlier this year by itself, it wasn't even in state of place. If you notice, like they have like kept this game to the side because they know everyone knows like it's such a meme associating PlayStation with live service, and it is hilarious how they just can't seem to crack the code with this. And knowing how much that has set back the second half of the PlayStation generation has been insurmountably frustrating for someone that like me, that I main on PlayStation. I like playing on all three because I don't like I always like being, if there's a cool game anywhere, I want to be there. I don't want to like seclude myself to, I'm entrenched here in this ecosystem, and like certain other content creators that like to just laser focus on things. I feel like you can find the fun and everything, but that like PlayStation has been my home, and I've kept saying it over and over and over again. Hearing all these failures on top of the neglect that I felt as a PlayStation gamer has been incredibly frustrating. And I did participate in 2 of these tests. The one in February, and they did another one in May. And the first test happened in the weekend of Marathon and Requiem in February. I don't know if you saw that. I posted my initial react. Like, I
Yeah.
brought up my initial react when I first played it. I was like, I was like, wow. It's like, you guys really, and knowing the entire Guerrilla team was working on this. They were not even working on Horizon 3. That was like the design doc somewhere. It's like they put the entire team to work in this thing that did not feel at all like Horizon in the slightest. It felt like it was wearing the Horizon skin in a cartoony way, which, by the way, the only thing that I'll defend is that the screenshots don't make the game any justice visually. When you're actually seeing it visually, it actually looked better than I initially gave it credit for, because when I first looked at it, I was like, man, you really traded your hyper realistic style of machine and the usual kind of like Sony first party kind of high fidelity like realistic graphics that gave the series like it's a very unique look in the hyper realistic like sphere. But then looking at it, it's like it's I understand why they went the cartoony route, but playing it was like, this is not Horizon. You completely have like shied away from what Horizon's supposed to be. It's like what makes Horizon so cool in his gameplay is the strategy. It's like I always consider it like RPG Dead Space. The key to fighting those robots is like nailing the specific parts of specific robots. Because if you're just trying to wail at enemies, it was lame. But when you realize, no, this bow works specifically well on this part, and if it has a specific elemental like weakness that certain robots are, like it made the combat so satisfying, like an RPG should be. None of that was in that test, and I was always wondering, is like, man, you're like the thing that makes your game unique is not even here. What are you doing? And by the time they went to the second test, um, they increased DPS. DPS was horrendous. It was clearly a game so built for the co-op that it was, like the remember D2 year one multiplayer. The only way to make a gunplay feel good if you're playing PvP, steam shotting, and all that. It felt like it was that design philosophy, and it felt like they tweaked damage to be like, okay, you can kind of solo this if you're fighting robots. It doesn't feel as bad, and they added a few other characters that were like, okay, this is kind of cool. This is still not Horizon, but I can kind of see it from, but I don't know if this is gonna work as a live service. And hearing this news, I'm like, what a shocker! What an absolute shocker!
Yeah.
And what an absolute waste of 5 years. 5 years since Forbidden West. So,
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's pretty bad. I'm just some background. I'm a huge Horizon fan. Horizon was the second game I think I've played on PlayStation 4, which in PlayStation 4 was kind of like the first time I really like got back into PlayStation since the PS1. And
mhm,
the first time I put Horizon in the console, I immediately like took the console back and traded it in for or upgraded to the Pro. And it was an amazing game. I platinumed it. Forbidden West. I have the collector's edition up there, platinum that
mhm,
as well. I love that series. It's hard for me to believe, and obviously we don't know, but it's hard for me to believe that every single person at Gorilla was 100% on board to go in this direction to make this game, to make it look like this. Because you got to understand, Horizon, even if you've never played it, you just seen screenshots. It is a very unique looking game. It's a very unique art style conceptually from like a visual perspective. It's very new. And
mhm.
in a world where games are more and more derivative, this was
Yeah.
such a unique thing. So I would
Mhm,
imagine whoever at Gorilla was the art director here is probably pretty proud of this. That this art style, this concept is probably like his magnum opus or whatever, or her, I don't know. So this drastic shift to me feels focus group driven, test group driven. This entire project to me feels like executives were like, how can we copy this thing that does this amount of numbers in this other franchise? And I
mhm.
think with this game and with everything Sony's been doing with their live service push, the biggest, like the most heartbreaking thing is the opportunity cost,
Yeah.
because there's a realistic scenario where we could be playing Horizon 3 right now. If you look at Insomniac, who, even though they were slightly tainted with this live service push, they were able to deflect it for the most part with that
Mhm.
co-op Spider-Man thing.
Yeah.
And they have like what 2 or 3 years between Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine, so
Mhm.
like the gap is not crazy. But then you have studios like
Naughty Dog.
Naughty Dog and Guerrilla, who are, like Schreier said in this tweet, like the next mainline Horizon game is far, far away, because this
Yeah.
wasn't a spin-off like side hustle that some small team was. It's not like Grounded at Obsidian. Like Grounded is a really wild idea in contrast to what Obsidian normally does, but it was a small splinter team that did that, and it did not affect like the runway for the games you expect from them, like Outer Worlds, Avowed, and whatnot. This was a complete studio takeover. It was the whole, like, the amount of money, time, and most importantly, the opportunity cost is just, it sucks. And I hope that the fault is lying with the executives who did this, and it's understood that this is like, this team is should not be impacted. I hope this doesn't result in layoffs. I hope that the next Horizon game gets fast tracked. I think it's kind of weird how they're apparently trying to salvage it in some way. Part of me feels like that's just so that they don't say it's canceled, because
because
done
they
that
had
so many times.
they have so much black eye, and I feel a lot of people will then want them to address the elephant in the room, which was like, people played Last of Us Online. That game was play tested like heavily. People like signed it,
everyone loved it.
Everyone loved it. And we're like, why didn't you just release that not as a live service game, but like as a traditional multiplayer game that could exist on its own, like we used to get back in the day when multiplayer, the expectation for multiplayer was never live service, like old school Halo, old school, like all of those, that it was just about playing, like maximizing whatever progression there was there, and then just keep playing, or like in old school Call of Duty terms, like the prestige to reset for you to kind of keep doing, but it was already like a contained set of content. It's like, but they want to do that now with Horizon, but they probably want to do it because they already know that the kill fee, like the kill list is too high at this point.
I think it will silently get killed down the road, because the initial sticker shock of this happening is going to play itself out, but it's not dead yet, and then it will just get silently killed.
Yeah, the fact that they already gave them, like, they have until December. The report said they have until December to hit the next milestone, to be like to show like what's gonna happen, and we already know that they're moving people away from this project back to the game that they should have been working all this time. Is like 90% chance this doesn't come out, and I tell you, it's like nothing lost, nothing of value will be lost.
At this point, it's like an uphill battle. Even if it's like good game, like a 7 or 8, it's already has this kind of stink on it, where it's going to have a really hard time attracting an audience. And I watched some of that Schreier video too, and I think he had a really good point where he said, if you are like trying to make a live service game, there's two like outcomes. One, it doesn't work, and you have a huge financial loss that oftentimes results in like the closure of the studio, and that's Blue Point. There's plenty of examples of that happening. Or you are extremely lucky, and you're one of the very few live service games that manages to like attract a big audience and be successful. And for that, your reward is that you get, your studio turns into like the mine for that game, and it's all encompassing, and it ruins your life. Like he said in his video, which is a great point, Epic Games used to make games. Now they make Fortnite. I remember Paragon was super fun. Obviously, they made Gears of War, Unreal Tournament. There were so many awesome games that came from Epic, and now it's just Fortnite. And the studio is like 3, 4, 5x in size, but their output for games is literally zero. It's just, they're just the Fortnite machine. So like both, no matter what happens in this endeavor, you lose. And so live service teams, the only way that they're going to have like a happy staff is either A, they're like Call of Duty, where it's a full ass game where you're not just making skins and stuff, you're making campaigns and you're experimenting, you're doing all this, and you have these huge 3-year plus development cycles where it's still
with different teams, like
exactly
rotating.
Or you just have a carousel rotating wheel of employees that come in and leave. And that's not the Sony studios. All these studios are long tenured, like studios with a core group that's been together for a while, making the art the way that they want. Like it's incompatible with what they're doing. So obviously incompatible. And you say they've been doing this since like Herman Hulse and Jim Ryan as well. I feel like they've been trying to get a multiplayer hit since Halo 2. and they haven't been able to do it for 3 console generations, going on 4. So
they stopped when they became the top dog. That's kind of like what happened, that they were trying to fight directly when 360 was on top, trying to be like during the 360's heyday, on top of them being the home of Call of Duty, Gears was popular, Halo was still popular, obviously.
PS2 though, Killzone, the Halo killer, then you have, like you said, PS3, Haze, Mag, like these games are all trash.
Resistance.
Yeah, exactly. And they cannot do it. And it's not because it's not like I'm not trying to say this as like, oh, they suck because they can't do this. They can't do it because they're trying to take a square peg and put it in a round hole. Like this is just not their identity. Do you know who else can't do it? Nintendo. Nintendo can't compete with Call of Duty or Halo or Fortnite, but they make
play on their own lane.
Yeah, and they are crazy successful. It's just like, God, you either have to completely change your entire internal development studio to facilitate this pipe dream that you have of being the next like Activision or Epic Games or whomever, or you just need to like make the games that people want you to make and buy.
Yeah. To be fair to PlayStation, at least on PS3, they did try to make unique multiplayer. Like Mag like Fat Princess was one. Like Mag, to be fair, was like that was at a time where it was rare for there to be multiplayer matches above 200 players, and they were doing that in the shittiest network possible, but they were still trying to do that. Warhawk. Warhawk was a really cool, and at the time it was fairly successful. At a time where success could be like 500,000 was fine, that it wasn't like you need millions or you're bust. That's what allowed a lot of these kind of like experiments to at least thrive, and it made the PS3 ecosystem at least experimental in a way that at least they were trying stuff. Like from Warhawk to Starhawk and all of that, and then why they have found so much failure trying to do that is like they have decided to trend chase, and chasing trends that were long gone, aka Concord, that they were chasing the 2016 trend, and we already know what happened. Or they wanted to be the only paid hero shooter in a market that had gone free to play at that time. But that's Concord is never gonna leave. I feel the Concord stench is forever the sword of Damocles hanging over every live service project from them, because it's like everyone expects the next Concord and they don't want to give them any benefit of the doubt because they were at fault for killing that thing as swift as they did. So it's like that creates distrust for not for
I agree. And that's kind of like the saddest thing is like they aren't cheaping out. Like they're spending a ton of money on this. They don't have bad developers. The games that they make are not bad. Concord, its
score was good.
It's derivative for sure, but it was extremely solid. There was literally not a single bug in that game. It ran flawlessly. The matchmaking, it was good.
Matchmaking was so quick for a game that barely had any players.
Yeah,
that's what I always.
But it just doesn't hit. And I think, and this you can like check me on this if I'm wrong, because you're more of a PlayStation guy than I am. I don't think that their audience is just like built for these types of games either, because if you look at the games that actually find success, it's from PC. Like their audience is. And this is
they're the most normiest of normies. If you see what's been played, like thankfully Todd Ostra put the charts of what are like the most played things on the 3 main multiplayer places, and it is very clear that on PlayStation the multiplayer side of that ecosystem is dominated by the free to play stuff. It's
that's
nothing else.
That's the same everywhere. That's not necessarily what I mean, because when you create a new unique idea, and you said it yourself, like they're not like a lot of the ideas they have are unique. I think Destruction All Stars was pretty unique. I think that they do have good ideas, but those people that are in those top 10 lists, they're not going to be the people that jump in on day one to new ideas. They're going to come after.
There's like a big gap. There's like a big gap. It seems that the PlayStation ecosystem only arrives to places when the buzz is high, whereas it feels like in the other ecosystems, there's more people that are ready to kind of jump in to new ideas, like at the ground floor. And
I think that PC definitely, and perhaps to a lesser extent, but still they're Xbox players. If they see a new multiplayer game, a lot of times they're like, this is interesting, I want to try this. And then if you can get like a critical mass of those early adopters, that's what makes the casual people aware of it. And that's kind of how like things grow. But with PlayStation, I feel like that critical mass, those people want the next blockbuster single player game, the next RPG epic, the next game from like Japanese art, whatever. And they're not really drawn to a Concord or to a mag or what
they
have
may
you.
say they want, but they just don't show up. It's like it becomes very clear, and that's been a thing even going back to PS3. And again, that's why like it was so lovely that on PS3 like a small player number could at least sustain those games for at least a couple of years before they got shut down. Obviously, because of the expectations were different. Because now so many of these multiplayers require such a big mass of players, they're clearly not showing up. And I also then blame PlayStation that from their own like from the fruits of their labor, they were the ones that decided to pick the lane of like we're going for the expensive single player stuff, which hit the specific sweet spot during the PS4 gen where that times were still getting long. Like that's when things started getting long and things got expensive, and you had the previous leader that got walked out of the building give the warning. It's like, yes, this is our bread and butter, but we got to check on cost because every generation that thing's going to triple. It's going to triple in cost, and we don't know if this could be a sustainable route. And he was the one that spearheaded. Let's get middle games, the ones that can be done quicker and on the cheap to kind of like balance in between. That's where Lost Legacy and Miles Morales kind of came from. And then Jim Ryan and Herman Hulse came in the building, kicked that out, and be like, we're tripling down. And now we are literally going through college careers and a half in between entries. And the games that we're getting from that are iterative, where it's like, we're getting the iteration we used to get every 2 years, and now we get it in an extended period of time. That's why you feel like even like their bread and butter single player stuff feels like it feels more critique because it's like the leaps are not the kind of leaps that you expect from such a massive wait time because they're spending so much time and money on such unnecessary little. And I feel that's a lot. That's become a problem just in general in this generation. Like even mentioning E-Day to me, like it's still very frustrating that we have had to wait 7 years, like it for a new Gears. And I want to see whenever we get that game, I want to be like, okay, was this worth the 7-year wait? We at least have a taste of multiplayer so far. It seems like it's pretty good. We're glad that we're getting a full package from there, but it's like it's those extended depths that I feel is creating a lot of like tension in like what a lot of gamers feel like, because we grew up in where we kept getting quick iterations of things. That's what like kind of kept
year
us.
Or two.
And that's what made it so awesome because it was like something fresh. We were getting close to miss something, and there we had something new instead of like going through such extended periods. And I feel Sony is like I keep saying is like when I heard that they want to go back to full exclusivity with the PS6, and they're like, the things that are just our single player stuff is what's gonna bring them over. I'm like, okay, cool. Are you gonna fix the dev pipeline? Are you finally gonna have more than 1 or 2 games of those a year? Is it gonna take 5 years? Is it because like good luck if you want to fill that up, because like you're not proving that you're able to fill up what you think you deem like you have the amount of like volume that's gonna make people bring you over into your system. And this is this is more doubly felt with all the opportunity costs we've seen, with all the time that they wasted on this failed live service initiative that should have been more measured and more to the side. Like should they play in the space? Yes. They just played it so wrong. Whereas like now we're fully doubling down on this, and we're feeling the you cannot just play a business move of like, here's 10 balls of shit, let's throw them into the wall and see which one sticks. That's what it feels like this has been, and none of them has stuck. And the only one that stuck was they didn't even know. And because of their clearly, I can imagine what happened with the PSN requirement was the big reason why Arrowhead then want to be like, whatever game we do next, we're not doing with Sony. They intentionally sabotaged that game, and a massive player base trying to force that. Obviously, they walked it back eventually, but it's like they did it at the critical mass, and I feel like Helldivers 2 never recovered like the side guys that thing was. So it's like they just don't know what they're doing there.
I don't think Arrowhead's necessarily a great fit for Sony either. Like their whole, like if you go on Arrowhead's website, like their business statement or their mantra is like a game for everybody is a game for no one, which I think is actually like very ballsy to say. I think it's true, but Sony seems like they are trying to, you know, have those 4 quadrant games and like, you know, and that's fair. Like I think Xbox and Nintendo are kind of like that as well. But I guess last word on this. I do think
Mhm.
it's sad that this is happening. Like you had said, or like Sean Layden had said, they specialize in really big budget, really low margin games, which is a risky endeavor because once one of them doesn't work out, that's a huge hit. If you're
Mhm.
single digit profit margins and the cost and time is so high. Ironically, the ones that were the biggest flops and failures were not the single player games. It was the live service games, which are
Mhm.
equally as expensive, time consuming, and
If not
uh,
more, 400
if
million
not,
for Concord, from what I
yeah,
heard. So.
if not more. I think it could be problematic to pile on top of this to have these upcoming single player games be so much more riskier than they need to be. And we don't have to open this can of worms, but just like, not having Kratos in the God of War game,
Mhm.
completely changing the formula from what was successful with Spider-Man to a linear Wolverine game, which, I mean,
Mhm.
maybe it's awesome. We don't know.
Yeah.
You have these mega franchises like Uncharted and The Last of Us. So instead you create a new IP, which
Yeah.
people love new IP. And you should definitely take risks, but when every single title that you have coming up of these big budget, low margin games, all of them are risky.
Mhm.
That could be a problem. But yeah,
Yeah.
I hope that the team, like I said, the biggest thing for me, I want Gorilla to be able to be like fully staffed, no cuts, no layoffs, and everybody
Mhm.
can just say, okay, this obviously was a huge mistake, not our fault, mind you, probably. So let's all go back and we'll dust off our boots or whatever, and we'll get heads down on Horizon 3.
I'll say it real quick because we mentioned that Schreier creator, he mentioned Bend. I'm surprised they're not getting killed. Hearing that apparently they're still they were allowed to work on a new game, it is encouraging because not getting a Days Gone sequel that could have improved on that first one, getting this new IP that was live service canceled. I'm like, what else do you got? What else are you? And hearing that at least they at least got that second chance to work on something else, it is encouraging. It still makes me sad for Bluepoint, especially knowing how small that team was and how important Bluepoint was in what I call the spirit of the brand. They remastered very key franchises that gave PlayStation its soul, even though they were not big sellers. It at least gave flavor. They were in charge to bring in that. It's how a lot of people experience Uncharted. Without them, Uncharted would have been stuck at PS3. They did that collection on PS4. God of War, like
And
why it
Golden
was so big in
Abyss.
PS3, and no, they didn't do Golden Abyss. Unfortunately,
That was
that was banned. Sony
oh,
banned
I thought we were
Golden
talking.
Abyss.
Sorry, I thought we were talking about Ben. You're talking about Blue
Oh
Point.
yes, yeah, Blue Point. It's like a lot of those. Hearing that they were like in charge of the soul of keeping a lot of those franchises alive, they were not given that chance. Still like
The
stings me
PS5
to this
killer
day.
app at launch was from Blue Point.
Exactly, and that still annoys me to no end, and that's still something that I still resent from learning that this year. And that's on top of all the resentments that we're getting with Destiny 2 getting killed, despite the fact that it's has the same player count that Arc Raiders currently has, a game that's no longer getting content, and they decide to double down on the other project that it keeps shedding more and more and more and more players, and they're like trying to throw PvE Hail Marys and announcing them all the time. And I'm like, Jesus, like you're like so blind to what you need to do. Obviously, I'm talking about Marathon, and I'm
Yep.
like, and Marathon's a good game, but it's like we're seeing like it's hard to see Marathon clearly when it's like we know how it's doing, and we see the other thing, and we're seeing someone willingly be blindfold about what they had instead of making that work. Decided to try to make the thing that's clearly not working work, and it's not even working. And on top of that, now the bad goodwill that you have engendered with all the little moves that you did. It is funny though that remember before Physical Gate, what was the hashtags all over their socials? Uh, give
We
us
want
Destiny
Destiny
3.
3. I think
Yeah.
I still had that, or maybe I just changed it,
Uh,
but yeah.
yeah. So,
No, yeah.
so again,
Speaking of the physical gate, though,
uh,
next story here. Uh, you wrote this one down. PlayStation 6
mhm.
release date hasn't been decided yet, says Sony CEO Hiroki Totoki, and still no mention on how they'll honor physical game libraries.
Yeah, that's the
Um,
elephant that is still kind of needs to be addressed. Yes, they soft address the fact that they see that there's been a strong reaction, but it's like that's a big factor. Like, and they're still kind of like between a rock and a hard place. They're not mentioning anything. Obviously, we know they haven't decided to release it because of all the costs. I didn't put this story there. Do you read the Ampere analysis like report of like they're thinking if next year launches with $1,000 console is gonna be like a precipitous like drop in like
Well, I
in
think
hardware
both.
sales and all
I'm pretty
that.
sure
So
both Xbox and
mhm,
PlayStation were pretty firm and locked in on next year. I don't know what's going
mhm,
to happen, and that's part of the reason why I upgraded my GPUs because I suspect it will get delayed till 2028.
mhm,
Um, it's just so ridiculous. Like I was looking again today, like people at my office were complaining about the cost of the Xbox being 1,000, how embarrassing that is, and I was like, here's 30 or 64 gigs DDR5 Canadian, $1,699. So it's like,
yeah,
yeah, it's crazy. And we don't have to get into this bag of worms, but just like rattle off some quick things. All three of the big RAM manufacturers have announced that their entire supply for next year is already
locked in.
sold. And I don't want
Uh,
actually, sorry, not sold. There's just like napkin like promises made by these big companies that they will buy it. We don't know if they will or not, but they're not going to sell to us, which is going to screw the prices up. And all the
mhm,
analysts are suggesting that next year is going to be even worse than this year. So
mhm,
right now would be the absolute worst time in history to launch a console, and next year is
yeah,
supposed to be worse. So I don't know if that's necessarily going to happen. As far as physical though, they have to say something,
mhm,
because I know everybody thinks I'm crazy. No one wants to believe me when I say this. This is very bad for them. This is the worst PR they've ever had, worse than the hack.
yeah,
They haven't seen any like negative impacts according to their financial statements so far because
mhm,
there it would have been impossible for anything to show up yet.
yeah,
And I always have said this. This is not killing them. They're not a dead company because of this, but it's going to hurt them. And all they have to do is say like, even if it's bad news, even if it's like, yeah, if you own games on PS4 or PS5 physically, they will not work on PS6. You have to keep your PS5 if you want to play them. Even if that's it, just say it and get it over with and say, we are
mhm,
not changing our mind. Not, oh, we're cautiously, blah, 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 would be
mhm.
all these vague things. It's just,
Such coward like response to that. Like
yeah.
it pisses me off. And remember, I'm not even the physical guy. I'm the digital brand. Even then, I get pissed around that. So
Well, it's hurt.
such
It hurt.
cowards.
Like, if you are somebody who's like a fan of PlayStation and just wants to see what news is coming out, or we'll talk about it in a little bit, you just want to watch the Phantom
Mhm.
Blade Zero State of Play and don't want to
You saw
see.
that, yeah. You saw the chat, right?
Yeah, it's like this is something that should have been over like months ago,
Hmm.
and it's still going, and it's not
Yeah,
stopping. It's not slowing down. So, like, I don't know. I get
yeah.
it. They don't want to talk about next gen, but they should. I have a ton, and that's not even a lot. There's
Hmm.
a lot of people that own a lot of discs, and if the console is gonna be the most expensive PlayStation ever, then
Hmm.
selling your PS5 to help pay for that is gonna be the only way that most people can get one. And if
Exactly.
they need to know if that's even possible or not, because if they own a
Mhm.
library of physical discs, they're not gonna be able to sell it if they don't work on the next one.
Yeah. To me, like it is now just a cloud that enshrouds literally everything. I feel that was a big reason on top of like other pent up frustration. Like obviously the Wolverine previews happened in between our last recordings, and obviously a lot of the previews had positivity to them. Like I read them, just with the tinge of we're still missing the
Tepid
it. So
positivity, though. Very
exactly, it's
tepid.
tepid. I even said it. I was like, I'm surprised how tepid the response is because I remember the preview cycle for Spider-Man 2, how incredibly glowy it was. I looked at the exact same people that went to that Spider-Man preview, gave the Wolverine preview, and I was very surprised at that tepidness. I was like, huh, interesting. That's how it's feeling. It's like, this may not be like the slam dunk, like critical, like critical success that one would expect from Insomniac, which has given a lot, especially they're the only ones that have been releasing stuff for their console. But it's
And
like it's
that
it's
negative cloud matters, dude. Like, look at The
mhm,
Last of Us 2. I have the collector's edition of The Last of Us 2.
mhm,
I love that game. I think it's one of the definitely one of the best games of that generation. It was my game
mhm.
of the year that year. I think the narrative
Same.
structure they chose to go
Mhm.
with is extremely ambitious and they nailed it. I think it's a
It's bold in
fantastic
a way
game.
games are not right now. It's so bold in ways that I wish more games try to be bold.
And
So,
even outside of that, just as a game, it's extremely fun. The combat's very good. It's
mhm,
just objectively like a really good game, okay? But
mhm.
it has this negativity, this negative connotation around it for something that's way smaller than what's happening right now. This type of stuff just infects all of the vibes like there's people out there that maybe don't have a PlayStation, don't play The Last of Us, don't know much about it, but they think it's bad because of the negativity that's surrounding it, because of the leaks and everything else.
I want to praise Tokon to high water from heaven, like to high water, because it's such a freaking awesome game. But it's like, no, it feels like you cannot celebrate even any of the wins from that brand because they have this cloud on top of it, and that is so annoying. I already had felt that there was like a stigma about celebrating anything PlayStation this entire generation, and now this feels like we are in the midst of Chernobyl with like what's happening, because everything feels like it has that kind of like that patina of negativity, and people have even forgotten other wins from this year. Like Saros has been like long forgotten at this point, and that was a good game. Yep. But it's like you can't even celebrate any of these good wins. And this is kind of like why I'm so excited for Wolverine to come out, to really see, like, so we can actually see the reality of what their marquee title can do in the midst of all this insanity. So it's like, that'll be interesting, especially because I've always said that I like their Marvel games. I don't like the idea of the Marvel games being the cornerstone of your year. That's kind of like, that's your big one. I always like my Marvel games to be the side dish to the main one, aka the companion to God of War 2018 that was Spider-Man 2018. Having both of those was perfect.
That's crazy year.
Yeah, incredible. It is incredible thinking that, but being your Marvel game being like the only thing is like, thankfully they did, because they do a lot of second party stuff. That's what filled up the rest of their year for them. With Neo 3 was technically a third party exclusive for them, like even though it's on PC, and Token was second party. It's like Phantom Blade Zero, which had its we can jump into that real quick, like it had its state of play. Like, that looks like the marquee game for me. Like, looking at that is like, that looks so freaking awesome. I understand why they did a state of play to kind of like underline that is their game, even though it's also on PC. If you're there, but it's like, that is a game that they put their money on. They found it, they funded it, and all of that. And what's everyone talking about? Discs. Yep. discs and discs and discs and discs, and it's like, it's so fun. It's like, I was trying to find someone to be like, look, this insane boss fight that kind of like that permeated like the final half of the state of the state of play, where they're kind of like dancing on top of like sticks, kind of like in Chinese way. That there's just a gonzo nature to Phantom Blade Zero, because it feels like it's a new kind of Ninja Gaiden game. It's not a Souls like, that's been like confirmed many times. EIC at SG Ains, he played it, like he knows, like, this is not a Souls like this, even though it looks visually like one. It's not. It is a test, get good, like get dexterous with the way you can do mechanics, kind of like action game, and I like that. And I like that we have one that has been given the time, love, and care it seems like it's getting. But it's like, that's not what everyone's talking about, beyond the fact that it was like, why wasn't the demo that popped up in the PSN briefly, like, why wasn't there like that at the end of the state? That's kind of why I watched it, because I was waiting. I was gonna stream on Monday. I was like, I'm gonna wait, and then dive straight, and it didn't happen. I felt very crestfallen. And none of the comment, I couldn't find a single comment during that live stream that at least mentioned how cool it was.
I saw them take like a small break from protesting to say, "Oh yeah, Donnie Yen's there," and then right back. Exactly. But yeah, let's move on to that then. I didn't watch the whole thing. Let's combine this, because there's two big game releases since the last episode. Not releases, but like kind of reveals, or deeper reveals, I should say. And I didn't watch all of the Phantom Blade stuff, although I do think I'm going to pick that up. Is it kind of more like Wukong? You could talk about it in a second. The other one was Kingdom Hearts 4 at D23, and I despite owning them all, I don't know shit about Kingdom Hearts. So why don't you give me the elevator pitch for both of those presentations?
Yeah, so obviously Phantom Blade Zero was just basically showing us the scope of the game. It is definitely I was talking with some friends, it's like the kind of game that we thought Black Wukong was gonna be, because Black Wukong presented itself more as a Chinese God of War, but then when you played it was like clearly more of a Souls-like. Even it had the punishment of a Souls-like, it had the flow of a Souls-like. This clearly is taking its cues more towards Ninja Gaiden, even to some extent Onimusha, which is funny since Onimusha is coming soon. It's not an open world game, but it's gonna be open zones, so it's gonna be kind of like pockets of exploration where you can find secrets and all that, but it's not like a lose yourself kind of open world. I kind of like that, because it helps things to remain funnel while still giving you a little bit of freedom, which is something that I feel Wukong was kind of hamstrung, where it was like, it always gave you the illusion that you could explore places and you couldn't, because it was full of like invisible walls, especially in the first two biomes, which annoyed me. There's like 30 weapons, like 30 different kinds of weapons that you can use, which I love that in action games, because you could definitely tell uh, you can definitely tell there's different play styles like on hand. Super slow but super strong attack, super quick attack. Like they're
The combat looks
like
crazy, like the
yes.
animations and stuff. It's just even
Mm-hmm.
from I remember the very first reveal where
Mm-hmm.
I didn't
It
even
looked
believe.
too good. It looked too good to be
I think
true.
we even I don't know if it was a podcast. We had some discussion about it. I remember it was that game and a couple others. I was like, yeah, these
Mm-hmm.
games from China, like I don't know, like I've already
Yeah,
saw. This was all before Wukong,
yeah,
mind you, and so far
yeah.
they're delivering
This
like
was
crazy.
yeah. This was
There
the
there
one
was
more
that like
thing for
Destiny
as.
like
Mm-hmm.
there was like a
Ooh,
Destiny like game that was like in the same show. It was the one I think that ended with Astrobot, right?
yeah. It was like for where winds meet. That was the one.
Yeah. And I
Mhm,
remember
mhm,
being like, yeah, none of these games are gonna look like this, play like this. This is just
mhm.
this is like the original Division reveal, but
Yeah,
from China,
the
and they're
bullshit, the
delivering.
bullshit.
Yeah,
Mhm,
I'm wrong. That Wukong was my game of the year that year. I love
mhm,
that game. I actually am considering buying it again for PC.
mhm.
And I think
Ooh,
that
it would have looked good with your PC, especially because that was such a demanding game, like at the
it looked
time.
really good on the Pro, in my opinion. But yeah,
Mhm.
it would probably look a bit better on the PC. There's that one that you reviewed that I don't think landed as good. The one published
Uh,
by Sony.
yeah, it's the Star Blade.
No,
I reviewed that one.
Stellar Blade's another one where I didn't have any faith in that was awesome, but it was the
Mhm.
last Lost Soul aside.
Oh, so I said Don did that one.
Oh,
I dodged the
okay. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I dodged the bullet on that one because that game was awful. Because I finished, I beat it. It
The
was
voice acting
incredibly
looked bad,
disappointed.
but there's some of it. And then Tides of Annihilation had a preview. We won't talk about here, but that looks
Mhm.
fantastic. So I'm and Marvel Rivals of all things, like that
Yeah.
was I think Marvel Rivals was in the same showcase too, right? With yeah.
Yes.
So China, bravo. That's
Yeah,
my
they're
2 cents.
like Asian countries are literally caring because they're like making games quick of high fidelity and
And
at
they're taking
constant.
making new things. Like it
Mhm.
feels fresh.
Yeah, and like old school, like when Japan was the king in the PS2 era, where there were that's where like the fresh ideas were coming. So it's like I'm feeling that energy with Phantom Blade Zero. I feel the game has an aura to it where I was seeing that a lot of people were sold on this state of play. Like Khalif Adams, he was like, I had no interest. I saw this, and now this is a day one. For others, is like this is my most anticipated game for the rest of the year before GTA 6, because obviously we know GTA 6 is happening. It's been leaked. We're not going to talk about that because if we mention GTA, they might strike us. But it's like I just know that that's happening. But it's like it is. I knew like I seeing it many times. I was like, this feels like the game that I'm looking for. It's like when you're always like, for example, with Gears, it is my Xbox game that I'm waiting for this year. That's D1, and I feel Phantom Blade is D1 for me. In the PlayStation side, even more so than Wolverine. And I'm glad that they removed it from. Remember, that thing was gonna come out in 3 weeks. They were like it and Wolverine were literally a week apart, and then they pushed the Phantom Blade Zero away. I'm glad they did because it's gonna be like the last big game before GTA. That's kind of like the last one before we enter GTA 6 hell. So it's like I was very impressed with what I saw. Bummed that there was no demo because they've been so openly demoing that game often. They had a demo in 2024 at SGF. Ains played it. Like they had another demo that people were busting. That what's so funny is that you can tell how awesome the game was, but you cannot write the preview yet. Ains is still like, but he can openly say that it was awesome. Many people can. They kind of gave us like a very extended embargo for that, but we can tell. It was like, yeah, it's like everyone that walked out of that one was like, oh, this is the real deal. And I feel like that state of play demonstrates that it's going to be like a fairly meaty one, that it's a real game, and I'm excited for that. Now for Kingdom Hearts. Obviously, D23 happened last week. Kingdom Hearts had a big panel there where initially we didn't know if it was gonna even have any Kingdom Hearts 4 details, because Kingdom Hearts, being a Kingdom Hearts fan means that you get the game announced and then it disappears for years. You have like breadcrumbs. You always feel like it's over, that it feels like nothing's happening, things are traveled and all of that. And in the midst of the movie announcements, when they were like getting ready to reveal Avengers and all of that, like they announced the Coco sequel for Pixar. They randomly dropped the trailer where they showed that the Coco world from the original movie is the first officially confirmed world for Kingdom Hearts 4, which is very fitting because it's about like an afterlife. In Kingdom Hearts 4, kinda it's about the afterlife for people
Okay.
that are kind of like in the know based on the way Kingdom Hearts 3 ends. It's a very fitting first world about like the story that they're telling with Kingdom Hearts 4, which is ironically, it feels like Tetsuya Nomura, the director, is in a spiteful way gonna make his Final Fantasy Versus 13 that was robbed from him, and he's gonna do it. He's gonna do that in Kingdom Hearts. It's like it's a long rabbit hole that's too long for this podcast. I'm not gonna go there. It's like I just find that very fitting that they're doing that for that game. It's so funny seeing the spite of Tetsuya Nomura all over his game. They announced a couple things like Mickey Mouse back as a playable character after briefly allowing you to play as him on the second game. If you keep losing, if you keep dying, he could be like a second win, like rescuer. The kid you can play briefly as you rescue Sora. He's gonna have his own playable sequences for the first time, where he can even turn into Paper. So he's like Paper Mario but with Mickey. And they're doing the first playable Donald and Goofy like sections. Those characters have always been your party members, your black mage and your knight. You can never play as them. Now you can. And the most important thing at the D23 panel, they tripled down, saying that game is coming out in late 2027. Tetsuya, because they put late 2027 in the day before when they showed the trailer, and everyone immediately joked, early 2028, because that's usually how it goes. And Tetsuya Nomura and the co-director actually addressed that in the panel. It's like, we saw your reactions yesterday. You know, you were making jokes. We want to promise you development is going really, really, really smooth. We're entering the final stages when we go back to Japan, and we assure you this thing is coming out late 2027, no delays. And it's like, that's insane for a series that it's often delayed. So it's like, that shows that they kind of got their crap together with development, because Kingdom Hearts 3 was perpetually hopelessly delayed for so long.
Yeah,
so
I even knew that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's like that meme. They counteracted the meme. The game's looking really good. It looks insane. The visual quality of it. It's like I saw the people overlaying the scenes of the movie, and obviously you could tell which one's
I thought it was the movie, because when I just clicked it, it was like scrolling through YouTube, and I didn't I clicked it because I actually I don't even think I clicked. I think I autoplayed, and it just was showing like the intro of the game section in Coco's wherever that takes place. I can't remember the name. And I thought it was like, they're making a sequel to Coco. That's awesome, because my kid loves that movie. And then I saw like I think
Heartless show up.
Yeah. And then I was like, wait, what? And yeah, so no, the visual fidelity here is crazy. I'm interested to see what the gameplay looks like. I don't expect it to be like vastly different. But
they show gameplay in the trailer. You see it being played, so it's actually like, holy shit, you're seeing the actual, you see the HUD, you see like a little gameplay. It's like, so it's interspersed, like it looks just like what you saw there.
So they're gonna drop remake part 3 and this next year. That's pretty crazy.
Insane. Like I can imagine this is knowing that their fiscal year ends March. This is clearly a next fiscal year play where they want to have the two big hits hitting in the same fiscal year. That's still pretty insane, because it's like Square finally, like, they're cooking. They're doing the first HD 2D Final Fantasy this year with Final Fantasy Resonant in October. The next expansion for their perpetually popular FF14 Evercold is in January of next year. They're having Revelation and Kingdom Hearts also the same year. It's like they're hitting their like top franchises right at the end of their 3-year rebuild phase that they announced back in 2024. They were like, we're rebuilding, we're changing the way we're doing, no more exclusivity, we're
more
like
Crystal Dynamics stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. It's all of that, like they shed all of that, and it's like, credit to them. They said 3 years, they're on schedule to delivering that. So it's like bravo to them. I want them to do good. I love seeing what Capcom is doing. I love seeing that Konami is slowly resurging. It's like, I want a lot of my healthy Japanese studio, because that's where my love of gaming was born. From these companies. So it's like, please keep doing good. I want you to be healthy.
It seems like the way it's going. And just a quick tidbit that I just looked up while you were talking. I knew anecdotally that Steam was putting like the Kingdom Hearts collection on for a really good price. This is Canadian, so it's going to be even cheaper for you if you're listening. Regular price is 133 Canadian for all 3 games, and this is like the versions of the games that has like 500 other games in them. Like everything you could possibly play outside of those canceled or killed mobile games, everything combined for $40, 70% off. And I just looked at Steam charts. Kingdom Hearts 1.5 plus 2.5 remake or whatever it's called.
Bestseller, right? Or second bestseller in the paid.
Yeah, it almost hit their peak concurrent. Like, it came out, the peak concurrent was hit 2.5 years ago. It almost
Mm-hmm.
matched that. It's almost it was over 10K. That's over 3x marathon
Mm-hmm.
for this old game. And right now, I think they're releasing a bundle with all these for next gen consoles in the fall. But right now,
October 8th. Mm-hmm.
yeah, right now this is the on PC. This is the only way to play them above like 1080p. I think they're 60.
Actually, yeah, you can play them at 4K on
It's not
Xbox
native. It's
One.
not native though.
Yeah, it's like a upres 4K. So it's like
Yeah, but
they
this
did
on
a patch
PC
for
you can play native for, and on
Oh
the
yeah,
PS5
native.
and Series X it will be
It's
native
gonna
4K
become
too.
native. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
but right now, like I have them all on PS4. Those are like 1080p and then checkerboarded up, and it's
mm-hmm.
not going to look as good. And there's some
Especially Kingdom
weird.
Hearts 3. It's like it's 1440p on Series X and 1200p on Pro version on PS4. It's like you can see the blurriness of the reconstruction there. It's like it's
Yeah,
bad.
and I was looking because I'm still on the. I still might buy them because I'm hoping my kid will get into them. Um,
Mhm.
but I was looking up like, okay, how do they run on PC? Because sometimes old games on PC are kind of, but no, apparently they run awesome.
Yeah, they're well optimized games. They're
Yeah,
very, very well optimized games.
and
So
it's not going to take much to push that to like a really solid. Even if you don't have even if you play like on a monitor, you can max the textures. It's going to look really
mhm.
good. It's going to play really good. That's a crazy deal. That's like hundreds and hundreds of hours worth
Yeah.
of Kingdom Hearts for $40 Canadian. It's probably like 30 something for you guys.
Mhm.
But yeah, I just wanted to shout that out. Huge success with the announcement. You could see it resonating with people. You can see them jumping in.
Mhm.
Uh, Next up, you have some more stories that you added here. I'll let you lead this one because I didn't actually know
Yeah,
about this until you posted it.
yeah, it was like the last big news that I saw that happened that was dropped today. Harvey Smith launches new studio with former Arcane staff to make immersive sims. Obviously, Harvey Smith was last in Arcane Austin, the studio that gave us the original Dishonored and Prey, that then unfortunately was saddled with the Redfall fiasco, and unfortunately, instead of giving them another shot, knowing that it was like that was we know that game started before the acquisition, but they still let that thing kind of like go to the finish, and we know what a disaster that was like at launch. That literally like set back a lot of the Xbox. I would say that game specifically is probably the one that really set back a lot of the goodwill, like first party wise, that Xbox had built on top of the big 2022 no games release. All of that happened, and then that dropping was like, oof, what are you guys
Well,
doing? It's like especially
it
for a
was a
game.
show ender at E3.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yes, in 2021. It's
yeah,
I remember.
I think it's one of those situations where you don't really know what you have until the acquisition goes through.
Mm-hmm.
I do give Xbox credit for letting them get it across the finish line, keeping them there for that. I saw an interesting story that after they got laid off, the final patch, the 1.4, which fixed like made
Fixed everything. It's a good game. It made
it's
it
a
a good game before they left.
yeah. Well, actually, the patch wasn't out when they got laid off, and Harvey and a group of people had to go to Xbox and be like, "Can we just like go back to work even though we don't work here and launch this?" And Xbox or Microsoft got them to sign like these documents that said we will go into work but not actually be employees just to
And
do
play
this
it.
thing. And so Microsoft like kind of did whatever they had to do to legally let them get in and get that last patch out, which yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's not it brought it from like a 5 to like probably a 7, and which is
Mm-hmm.
a huge increase. The game is, if you play it today, it's actually like
Yeah, the reviews it got are
decent.
not representative of what you can play now, but it's like it was bad
Oh
in that
yeah,
initial launch. But it's like they did work on it. It's still like not what you want out of Arcane, but it's like at least you could see kernels of they still had it in them.
everything from
Remove.
Bethesda though,
Mm-hmm.
pre-acquisition, like we talked about it last week, from
Mm-hmm.
the second that they released that Save Player One trailer
Yeah,
or initiative, the second
dark
that went
times.
live until
Mm-hmm.
Xbox bought them, it was all bad from Bethesda. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully it feels like we're on a better trend now. Like even like
Mm-hmm.
the Indiana Jones was crazy. That's a game of the
It's
year.
still my favorite. That's my favorite Xbox game still from this generation that came out from them. It's like such a good game. Love.
Yep.
That was my non-remade game of the year of 2024. Like
Yeah.
because Rebirth was mine, but that was like my number two. And if someone was like, you cannot put remakes as what you call it as game of the year, if someone gave me that stipulation, then Indiana Jones would have been my goatee. So and obviously Rebirth is a weird remake original game hybrid, which is so weird. But such a great game, and definitely the best Bethesda game they have released so far. I wanted Starfield to be that. Unfortunately, we know that it ended up not happening, even though they're still supporting it and giving it quality of life and all of that. But it wasn't like the home run it needed. I am desperate for, now that we have the roadmap for Bethesda, thanks to like what Asha finally putting control into things and be like, this is happening. That I want them to like remind people why Bethesda was like the bee's knees, because it just feels like it's been such death by a thousand cuts at this point, where people like forget that Skyrim 60 million seller is like what a big deal that was in RPG land. Like it's like that's
I think it's
the
the best selling RPG of all time. If you
at this point, yeah, it's Pokemon. Like oh yes, I think Witcher 3 is encroaching slowly. Like like it's encroaching it.
But once Witcher 3 gets like within striking distance, they're just gonna drop a remaster of Skyrim again.
Kind of like,
and they'll just
for like the next set of platforms.
Yeah.
But a lot of people buy it because like that game is such. I've never finished it myself, but I always keep buying it because I always enjoy the coziness of starting river. What's the first river on? Is the Riverwood, like that first section. I always kind of like run through it, enjoy the music, enjoy the sky. Try to go to Whitehorse, I think is the place of the king, or White Run, which is where the arrow to the knees, and that's when I drop all the time. But it's every time that I've got a new version of that game. But yeah,
I listen to the Skyrim ambiance, that Skyrim like relaxing music. I almost every day when I'm coding. So like I am fully immersed.
Find the lo-fi. There's lo-fi versions of that are so good that I put sometimes in my stream intros.
Oblivion, Cyrodiil and Chill is what the mix is called on YouTube. Search that. It's great. Yeah, that's a daily.
But shout out to Harvey, because I'm glad that he's gathered his team. They know how to make an immersive sim. I'm excited to see them trying to do it again, especially as we're still waiting to hear from the fate of Arcane Leon. That's still an open question if it's like a closing or not. That's like in the hands of the French government. We haven't heard any update yet. They're probably gonna try to keep that in the DL because it's not looking good, but at least some masters of the immersive. If you like immersive sims, you should be excited to hear that Harvey Smith gathered their team for another one of those. Let's hope it hits. Let's hope that he shows that he still has his stuff, because Dishonor and Prey were really good. I like Dishonor more than Prey. I know Prey. People love Prey. We have people within our groups that are like praise Prey to high heavens. I don't think it's that like masterpiece work, but I think it's a really great game, especially the middle section of that game.
Especially the robot DLC. The DLC.
Yeah, Mooncrash. Now Mooncrash, I'll go to bat for it. Mooncrash is a better Deathloop than Deathloop.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, well, congrats. There's going to be a lot of work to, I think, get back to where they were. But I mean, it's good that he's still kicking. He's going to be able to go back to what they're known. They're not going to have this live service push over their head. So good luck to them, and we can't wait to see what's coming. Next up, you wrote this one. I'm going to read it as you wrote it.
Yes, please.
Control Resonant goes gold, but physical edition delayed till October 15th. Digital release still on track for September 24th. In parentheses, with exclusive 48-hour early access only on the most despised platform of the moment, LMAO. I forgot about this.
Yeah,
and I say this all the time. In a world where there's so much choice, do not give me a reason to not pick your game. This game is going to come out like right on the heels of Onimusha, of Wolverine, of Dustbloods,
same day as Silent Hill,
Fire Emblem, War Dogs, which is something I haven't talked about on here yet, but look it up. It looks crazy. Silent Hill.
It's a shooter, right? Like I think I've seen.
Yeah, it's like okay. 15 seconds. It's basically if you took Battlefield and and combined it with an extraction shooter. So you are playing Battlefield Conquest, but all the gear that you will like take to the conquest point, you have to buy. And if you don't have money, then you can't go in with something. If you want to get a helicopter, you have to get money from killing other people, doing objectives, looting and shit. But at the same time all this is happening, you're in Battlefield Conquest, and it's full open mic voice. It's for the enemy team. It's
like real world.
Yeah, it looks
like real world battle.
It looks crazy. But there's so much choice, and this type of stuff I thought was gone away from the industry. This exclusive for 2 hours. If you're on PlayStation, you can play it 2 hours. I'm not gonna.
That's such an annoying like I like have we gone from exclusive DLC to like only on this platform you can play it like 2 days early, and that's the thing, with no extra price, like with the same price as everyone. You just have to pre-order
Yeah,
it
we
on
pay the same. We
PlayStation.
just get less because it's
Yeah.
yeah. And honestly, like if this to digital was a thing, I would probably pick it up. But October, that's Gears of War. You're right in the
Mhm.
middle of Gears of War and Call of Duty. That's Suicide. And then in
Yeah.
September, you're right up against Onimusha and Dustbloods. That's also Suicide. And you're giving me a reason to not buy your game. I think that's a
Mhm.
bold strategy. But and obviously the PlayStation gamers are the minority. They're probably celebrating this. At least
Mhm.
some of them maybe. So I mean, perhaps it's the right move overall. I think that and this is the same with any time this has ever happened. I remember if you go back in the history of my channel, I have a discussion about Spider-Man and Marvel's Avengers.
The thing
No
that ruined the potential chances of that game ever coming back.
no one gains from this. You're not
Mhm.
going to get somebody to buy it uh early or buy, someone who wasn't going to buy this is not going to now buy it because of this early access. You're not
Mhm.
gaining any sales, potentially losing sales for people that are upset with this. The only people and Sony, whatever Sony spent, they're not gaining anything for it. Again, whatever they spent to get this, it's not going to translate to new sales. The amount of people that have the option to buy it on Xbox or PlayStation that were not already going to pick PlayStation anyway,
Mhm.
that will now pick it because of this 48, that is like
That's
so
such a minimal. It's
inconsequential.
yeah.
It's
It's so
like
minimal.
it's like a oh my god, what's the thing with the two circles, the diagram? It's a Venn
It's like Venn
diagram within a
diagram.
Venn
Venn diagram.
diagram within a Venn
Uh,
diagram. It's just stupid. And yeah, I forgot about that. Thanks for reminding me. I probably won't pick up Control at launch.
Yeah, especially because you're on physical, so you would have to wait until like it lands in the middle of like people think September's a minefield. October is worse. There's even more like happening in October that is like you're landing like in an even bigger minefield. Obviously, like we always joke, there's no time economy anymore. So anything that will be said about Control will have already been said on the 24th at that point, and
Even
then like
outside of
that.
big games too, like with
Mhm.
Game Pass, because this is all time. We're fighting for
Mhm.
time. I'm really interested in playing Dragon Wilds on Game Pass. I'm really interested in playing Valor
Or
Mortis on
Mortis.
Game Pass.
Mhm.
So there's so many other things. So to give me any reason to not pick the, because it was Play Anywhere. It's a Play Anywhere game. I'm
Mhm.
99% sure. So I was actually planning on picking it up
Yeah, it
digitally
is.
because
I
I can.
think Jess mentioned that. I think I saw it.
Yeah, so
So
it would probably look and run and feel amazing on PC. So I was considering getting it on PC. The only reason I was going to probably do physical still is because of disc to digital, and I can best of both worlds. But yeah, now I don't care. Unfortunately, I was looking for a reason to choose one game because I can't buy them all and play them all. I just don't have the
they
time.
gave you they gave you a reason.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Yeah,
that's just how it goes. What are your thoughts?
yeah. With this one, obviously, I'm a digital guy that pre-orders, so obviously I'm getting the benefit of this. But it's again going back to the thing where it's like it's again just the continuous death by a thousand cuts of this specific platform folder doing everything to make to just earn the ire of just general like perceptions of community, and it's like obviously I will cheekily be like physical guys, you got shafted here again. But now, to be fair to them, remember, Alan Wake 2 didn't have a physical for an entire year almost. That was like a digital
And I
only
waited that whole
release.
time, and
Yeah,
now I have two copies of it. I bought it on PS5 and Xbox
yes,
physical.
and at the very least, they realized that it was a mistake not doing a physical release at all. That they're at least wanting to do it. From like what I understand, this is probably a
Well, they want to
because
do it
they're much
right. They
they
want
want to do it right,
a gold
and
copy, a playable physical, yeah, which I
exactly.
appreciate, and everybody would appreciate. And side note, the steelbook looks amazing. Like if it's like
Mhm.
aesthetically, like whoever designed it, great job.
Yeah, this is still one of my most anticipated games, like of that middle of the middle section of the year, just based on the buzz from everyone that got to play the demo at SGF that we were not able to get in because it was that packed. So it's like I've been kind of like looking at clips. I think unless it already passed, this was an IGN first that they were doing, and they were kind of
Yep, I think so.
showing the game. It's like it looks so good. I love Remedy. I mean, I reviewed Alan Wake 2 and I gave that one a 10. It's the last 10 I gave as a review. I have not given a 10 since. That's the last time. I've been trying to be more stingy whenever I want to give a 10. But I adore Alan Wake 2. So it's like this being their next game and looking so different from the regular Control is one that I hope it does well. Uh, I will just hope we get code. Let's see it. Like I like to review it, but we'll see. I'll take advantage of the 48-hour early access because like this is on my platform and I'm on Pro, so I'll do it. But I understand for people that get pissed because I know what this kind of tiny exclusivity things have done. Like I reinstalled Avengers, I was just reminded. I was like, the Spider-Man thing could have been the thing that could have saved you, and you completely carved that out forever because it never made it to. That was like a permanent like exclusive thing, and that could have been the thing.
Did you like the Spider-Man storyline? Oh, there wasn't one because they couldn't do one because then the other players just wouldn't get this. They can't invest this much time in something that most of their audience won't get. It's like Hawkmoon. Did you like having Hawkmoon, getting Hawkmoon from a Nightfall? Yeah. Oh, it's not available in the Nightfall drop loot pool because it's a PlayStation exclusive gun. Or what about that that exclusive strike? Did you like doing that as a Nightfall? The best way to do it? Oh, you couldn't because yeah. So it's never a good thing. It's always a bad thing, and nobody wins except for whoever got the actual, like whatever person individual got the check. That person wins. Yeah. Everybody else loses.
And that worked well for them, like establishing Destiny on console more as a PlayStation, like early on. But the more they kept doing it with like even more egregious like exclusives where they like the year 2 stuff, they had it for like 2 years. Like, yeah, but, so like dumb. Xbox got it by the time that we got Destiny 2, and then by the time that they did exclusive stuff for D2 and Forsaken, people were like, we already know how this goes. It's like this is like content that's just gonna be teasing us here that we're not gonna be able to use properly, and even the guns that they're putting exclusive were not even that good anymore because they already knew what a big blunder it was, like sectioning of Hawkmoon, and that was like a big part of the PvP meta. So it's like all of this was these are just kind of annoyances that I'm glad a lot of developers have kind of moved away from. And it's again like when the shoe's in the other foot, if you ever lose that lead, like if they pull this up on you, so you know how it's gonna feel. So just as a warning.
Yeah. So and, I mean, final TLDR, Sony's been hurting Destiny since day one.
Yep. Same ironically. And final one. Let me read this one real quick so we can kind of move on. Goodbye, Warren Specter. The veteran Deus Ex and Epic Mickey developer announced his retirement from gaming this week, citing the video games business is not as much fun for me anymore, despite still having 3 gaming ideas he was thinking of developing. This kind of like adds to like we lost Michael. Not Michael Condor. It was like Glenn Schofield a few weeks back. Of like all this like veteran game developers are deciding to be like, you know what, it's over. Like we cannot keep doing this anymore. We can't. The environment is not healthy. Things are not good, and it's like I keep feeling this. That it's like this has been a really what a double phase year of. I think there have been some really good game releases like overall, but I feel like 2026 has reached kind of like the breaking point where it feels like there's a lot of misery that surrounds making games, covering games, talking about games, and all of that I don't blame like legendary developers being like, you know what, F this, like this ain't fun, like why waste more time, like most likely one of these 3 gaming ideas are not gonna work out, and it's like why even waste time? And that to me is really sad because it's like the more we keep losing like all this great talent and not knowing if they have passed on their knowledge for the new generation of developers to kind of come up, is like makes me sad. So it's like there's just again another victim of the current environment. So well earned rest, Warren Specter. I love what you like Deus Ex, legendary games, especially the original, and establishing like the immersive, like being a big proponent of immersive sims and choice and consequence is like the original Deus Ex is so known for that. Also, such an interesting pivot that then he was the Epic Mickey developer, a game that was so ambitious for the system that it launched on that like that couldn't quite take their ambitions. I would say the remake they put out, Rebrush, that's available on PS5 and Xbox, is actually really good. It feels like you can kind of see this realizes a lot of like the ambition he was trying to play on this game that was for the Wii. But it's like we need more developers like Warren Specter. It's this is what it's starting to make me feel sad. It's like slowly we're gonna lose all this talent, and then what's gonna happen if we don't get the next big one? So something to keep an eye out as we wade through this turbulent waters.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, Warren Spector's a legend. I think like with everybody in all professions, like if you're like the top of the food chain at some point, like eventually, like you can't stay there forever. I have a feeling like if you look at a lot of his games recently, they haven't delivered the way that we would expect them to. And sometimes it's just you gotta hang up your boots, and I think that's kind of what he's doing now. While
Hmm.
he's obviously been extremely successful, he's going to be able to enjoy retirement, which is great. I want to shout out I mean, I guess you could read it if you want, but I did the audiobook. The Jason Schreier's book had a chapter on Epic Mickey. It was very interesting. A lot of it was about like Warren Spector's involvement and stuff like that. The Thief franchise, especially the
Yeah.
early ones, are fantastic. I think I saw them as good old games on GOG.
Hmm.
This is a thing I never even knew about. Do you know what it means to be a good old game on GOG?
Um, I don't really. I've heard the term, but I haven't
So
looked it up.
GOG stands for good old games for, but like they have this like label that they put on some games, and it's games that they take and they make sure that it works excellent on modern machines. They're
Hmm.
older games that work and make sure they work awesome on modern. It's kind of like what Xbox is doing with their back and bat. And then they have a lifetime like lifetime. I mean, obviously, like the company could dissolve and then it's not going to happen anymore, but a lifetime maintenance guarantee so that it will continue
Hmm.
to always work on modern
Ooh.
machines because they have this like wrapper that they developed that goes over it. And like recently they added Prince of Persia Sands of Time.
Yeah,
Um
I saw that.
and it
Yeah,
was like
I saw the announcement.
yeah, it's like $2 or American. I think it's
Uh-huh.
$3 Canadian, and it's a good old game. So it has that like maintenance guarantee. It's guaranteed to work on. It's yeah, good old games are awesome. I think some of the Thief games are
Hmm.
potentially good old games. Don't quote me on that, but if they are, definitely check them out. Obviously he's a legend. Last thing we want to talk about. This is
Hmm.
the rumor mill. This is I think
Yeah.
is super interesting, and I might change how we do this. But it's been reported by people with, I mean, no one's perfect, but these people have relatively good track records that there is a quote unquote secret Xbox game that's going to be
Hmm.
revealed at Gamescom. The information that we have, which, like, again, all this is rumors, is that it is an Xbox franchise.
Hmm.
It's not being developed by a first party studio.
Hmm.
Those are two of the ones that are like the more concrete. And then this one, it's a little bit more loosey goosey, but apparently it's potentially also like a surprise sequel to an Xbox
Yeah.
franchise. So I want to ask you, what do you think it could be realistically? And what's like you get to pick it. Which one would you pick it? Like your pie in the sky.
Blinks the
And just
time
for the
super.
record, just also, sorry, they said it's absolutely not Banjo. So that's
Yeah.
off the
Hmm.
table.
Yes. So the very next, the best next thing, Blinks. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's like it's so hard, especially with like how much they have grown their first party now. That trying to think of in third party terms, what could it be? That I'm like,
Well, it
oh
is a
man, it's
first
like
party game. It's just been being developed
maybe
like in a
by third,
second
by
party, I guess, deal by unknown studio.
new and well, technically they own prototype, right? I mean, it's
Yeah,
Activision, so everything
they do.
Activision. It's yeah. I know that prototype kind of like came out like in kind of like a job description of like franchises we work on that was happening like over at Activision, especially with Radical Entertainment, that apparently that team is back. So that's why I was like, it's a very choice word to saying current franchise, like it's a franchise that has been in ice for 14 years. But man, it's like it's kind of, I'm kind of stumped thinking I'll just, yeah, I'll shoot my shot. It's like that's why they mentioned prototype. If prototype has been worked on, they found a partner outside.
They also said,
So
and this is probably even more loosey than this surprise sequel aspect. They said it could come out this year.
that'd be wild. To be fair, last year was an insane output like year for them, where it was almost way too much from them to come out. It not as big of an output this year. It's been more controlled. So it's like I could see another space if they're able to put this out before November or maybe a December game. Like December is up for the taking. Like there's nothing Xbox related after. I feel Gears is it
I
for
think we
them.
might get some
So
World of Warcraft news coming in the winter, or like November,
mhm.
December.
Yeah, we're
Well,
two
not
weeks away from BlizzCon,
BlizzCon.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What if you could pick any game? that meets this criteria: Xbox franchise developed by a third party and a surprise sequel. What would you
Yeah,
pick?
to me, I would like Prototype because I like superhero adjacent stuff, and I think Prototype was. I love both Prototype and Infamous. I love seeing both of those. I enjoyed both of those franchises simultaneously as like two different flavors. The distance shooter, electricity one, you're playing as Electra, and then the other one that's just pure carnage, and it's like it was so much fun. And I wouldn't mind if that one could come back. Like if Spire could come back again, like from places there in the Activision portfolio, because the only one that uh I can see like being developed, man, Mega Pie in the Sky Singularity too. Like obviously, like that would be Raven, but Raven doesn't. It's like there's a studio that has been so utterly consumed by the Call of Duty sweatshop because they are the most key developer for the most important part of that package, which is Warzone. Is
Yeah.
like, man, it's like Raven was so good, man. It's like I would love for another Singularity. So I doubt I'll get it right, but I'll say Prototype because why not?
All right.
So,
I'm gonna
what would you
go
say?
for what I think is realistic. I mean, I don't think anything is going to sound realistic because this
Mm-hmm.
whole rumor doesn't sound realistic to me. But there's a lot of people behind it.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to say a sequel to Ori, not made by Moon, but a
Mm-hmm.
new Ori game. I think that that's a beloved IP because the person who had the rumor said the rumor, it was just Nate the Hate, but I don't know why I didn't
Mm-hmm.
say that at first. He said it's
Yeah.
something that's super interesting to him. I know that he really likes Ori just based on other
Mm-hmm.
things he said. I think that if you're gonna find a random team in a second party deal, I think that getting a team that has the expertise to make a Metroidvania is relatively easier than getting one to make like a superhero open world epic action game. I
Yeah.
look at something like, and I haven't researched this, but I know Mercury Steam did uh the last 2D Metroid. I don't know
Mhm.
if they've
And
announced
they're
anything
rumored for
since
another one. There's a rumor that there was like a ratings board that announced a new Metroid earlier this year. That's
from
still
Mercury
waiting to
Steam.
be confirmed from Mercury Steam specifically.
Okay, well, I
So
mean that's just yeah,
yeah,
maybe it's not them then. That's just something
Mhm.
that I was gonna shout out because I know that they've done contract work for Konami and for Nintendo, obviously,
You
and
know what other
others.
thing I was thinking? Just something that I thought that I think would earn them immense amounts of goodwill. Lost Odyssey 2. That's an Xbox
Lost
franchise.
Odyssey would be
Yeah.
that would be like like megaton. Like
Yeah.
I even because like even if they release a Lost Odyssey like remaster,
Remastered.
that would be a mind blowing thing. And if this was a secret remaster that was going to be like fan favorite, blah blah, I would have said Lost Odyssey. That's the first thing I would have thought of.
I remember 2024 showcase when there were the rumor mill was heading for that one where there was discussions. It was like it
Yeah.
seems like Lost Odyssey 2 was gonna bet, and it turned out that what that was Clair Obscure Expedition 33 because that was like the turn-based thing
Hmm.
at that showcase. So it is like I remember that rumor mill, but it's like and Lost Odyssey is Xbox. It's like Microsoft Game Studios is in that is in that logo.
Oh yeah, it's
And
on the
obviously
box. I
missed
got it.
exactly. So it's like that is something that they've owned, and insane that they have not done more alongside Blue Dragon. Even though Blue Dragon and wasn't that it was okay. Like the game that people love there is Lost Odyssey. It's like Lost Odyssey is the real Final Fantasy 13 because it was done by Hironobu Sakaguchi
Oh, look at this
and
camera.
yeah, with music by Nobuo Matsu. So it's like the core Final Fantasy team made this game, and it's like a if you
Four
went from
discs.
yeah 4 discs. And it's that was one of the most insane back compats that they made work because they were having such a tough time like compressing files for multiple discs to work. They figured out with Final Fantasy 13 that that's 3 discs on Xbox, 1 disc on PlayStation, and especially with that one with 4 discs.
Some of
But
the
that would be
best
cool.
writing, by the way. Like
Mhm.
the overall story is good, but like it's just good. But like the Thousand
Mhm.
Year Dream, like short stories that are in this peak.
Yeah. I will. I feel like there's been a lot of revision, like in positive ways, towards Lost Odyssey because that game didn't review super high when it came out, but that was at the time where Western style games were such the high that everything JRPG was considered oh, this old style of game, it's like outdated and all that. Is like now that JRPGs are now back in vogue, a lot of people are like, please bring back Lost Odyssey, because we're now at a time where this genre is now reappreciated. It would be great if Xbox could remind people they tried back when that was not appreciated. They could try again, especially now under a leadership team that seems like wants to try. Because say whatever you want about the Asha Sharma era, it seems that they want to try at least instead of giving up. That would be cool.
Well, if this is something that releases this year, then it's probably not something that Sharma's team concocted. But no, yeah. I would.
It would be a win that coincidentally, just like
she could take credit for sure.
Yeah.
I would,
because the previous leadership could have canceled it also, so it's like they could credit be like, she actually saw what was there. Yeah. But like, yeah, I feel that's not the only one that Xbox franchise, and because that was an Xbox franchise worked by a third party before, so that's like the only one that I can really think of.
And they launched the game not too long ago. Well, they launched that, was it Neo Fantasia or something like that? Neo Fantasia. Yeah. They launched it on Apple Arcade, but they just had a console release, I think, last year. Which would have been
December 2024. So
okay, so
and he launched it on everything, so he was free with that. So it's like, I can imagine.
Well, I think it launched originally as an Apple Arcade exclusive.
Yeah, in 2019, all the way back in 2019.
Yeah, so whatever they did that launched in 2024, like that probably wasn't like a full team effort. Like it was mostly a port, I think. So all I'm trying to say is there's probably bandwidth for them to be working on something that could potentially come out this year, somehow.
Like we'll see. We'll know by when is Xbox, because they're doing 2 days, right? I think I saw.
Well, whatever this is will get announced, I would say probably on Jeff Keighley's stage, because the Xbox thing is kind of just like
not a showcase, right?
It's probably going to be. It's like kind of what they do. Well, it's kind of like what they do after the E3 showcase. You know, the next day they have like that thing where people are just talking for hours. It's kind of like that,
like their version of Treehouse, the Nintendo Treehouse, basically.
Yes, exactly. So I don't suspect there to be a big game reveal there, but whatever this is, if it's real, would likely be on opening night live. But if I had to pick one, it wouldn't be Lost Odyssey. It would be Rise: Son of Rome 2. Yeah, I love that game. That's the Days Gone before Days Gone. I know whatever you can give it a 7 if you want or whatever. I don't care. Yeah. That game was fantastic. That was the best game, in my opinion, at the launch for both consoles.
I prefer Dead Rising, but I like Rise. So I like
try to play both. I actually I just bought them both on PC. Rise it aged way better than Dead Rising 3.
Interesting. Yeah.
Dead Rising 3 is so clunky with how the weapons work. And anyways, my pick would be Rise. Any final thoughts?
Let's see. Like, come on, like Lost Odyssey, bring back your majesty. I would love nothing more. Like, I didn't even take a remaster. I don't care. Like, I just bring that back, because it's such a hit. And now that Japan is like on Vogue now, like, why not bring it back? Like, this is like the time to remind people, because it's like, that's the unfortunate, just as a quick tangent, they deserve credit for trying so hard, trying to court Japan and all that. That was just the wrong generation to really go hard for that, because it's like
they had taste
at that time
better JRPGs than PlayStation.
Yeah, at the time it did.
What PlayStation exclusive JRPG on PS3 is better than this?
It was Ni no Kuni, and that was like at the end. So it's like, and
I think Ni no Kuni is great, but I think Lost Odyssey is better than Ni no Kuni.
Because Lost Odyssey is more the epic JRPG, like in the vein of Final Fantasy, and like original PlayStation wanted FF13 to be that, and we know what happened. That Square immediately like folded and was like, nah. We don't trust the success just on PS3. Like, we're putting it everywhere. So even though the game still sold better on PS3, ironically, but it still didn't want it to be there on Xbox. And so it was like PlayStation 3 was like the worst the PlayStation brand has ever had, like in the JRPG land, because they lost big games to they lost exclusivity of big games. Their competitor was the one that had like, they even had a Tales game. I think it was Symphonia, the one that was exclusive to 360 that eventually came 2 or 3 years later. It's like the 360 had
Vesperia.
Was the machine. Yeah, it was like Vesperia was. Okay, thank you. There it is. I remember the art book so well for that one. It was like that was what's so crazy, that they went so hard at being like a JRPG machine of choice. It just sucks that the general like tenor towards JRPGs was like, I remember the reviews. I remember the conversation around like Japan was not respected in that generation. It was all about no, it's Western supremacy and all of that. And now that JRPGs are like back in, uh, they're more beloved than ever now. It's like you get so many of them now. One of them inspired by them. Do you have Infinite on Discovery there? Yes.
Yeah, look at
Last
all
Remnant.
these.
Yeah.
Infinite
Yeah.
Discovery, Blue Dragon. Like,
And fun
look at these
fact,
JRPGs.
yeah, the fun fact: Last Remnant was canceled on PS3. That arrived as a PS4 remaster later on. So
Come on.
let's see another one. Yeah, Enchanted Arms, man. It's like there's so again the 360 was like shout out to that system that even with the bad sentiment about Japanese made games because they were taking forever. They've at the time people were like this is clunky, blah blah blah. Like 360 put out the work. Sadly, they did not sell as well as they should have, but it's like they did try more than they did later. And you just look at it, the fact that they had all that and PS3 barely had any of that, and that was the system that was known for that. Like, see, you keep pulling like games from the fantasies. Yeah, they had Fantasy Star Universe. Like, now to be fair, they did bring Fantasy Star Online 2 on Xbox. Weirdly enough, like years down the line, they were able to bring that, which was like one of the weirdest pulls of E3 2019, the last one. So
there's even like non RPG Japanese games that are all over. Like, there's a lot.
yeah,
There's a
99
reason why
Nights.
both of them. I have both of them there. There's a reason why the 360 is a goat.
Yeah, because they had that was the console that literally had everything.
Because it's called the Dude Bro shooter box, and I have this in my hands. So like, and more over there. But anyways, we're definitely getting sidetracked.
Exactly. Yeah, but again, kind of like what I said is like, shout out to them. They did put out the work, even though I don't feel that work was really appreciated because of the conversations that were happening at the time. And I saw it in reviews. Like Lost Odyssey has an 8.2 on IGN, which is a criminal. That game should be like a 9+. So
yep.
And it was our conversations like it's old tropey, blah blah blah. I'm like, that wouldn't be the conversation now, I tell you. So
no,
that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we'll be back later on to see how right or wrong we were. But before we leave for tonight, we're actually making good timing. Let's speed run this. I'm gonna go first with what I'm playing because mine's really short. Last week I said I was playing something that was redacted. I am allowed to tell you what that is now. It's Game of Thrones War for Westeros, and that is the extent of what I can say. Other than I'll say that that's mostly what I've been playing this entire time. I did play a little bit of the Mortal Shell 2 beta, which it is amazing. I'm debating Wally. Shout out to Daddy Wally, friend of the show. He posted that he got all the Steam achievements in the beta, so now I kind of want to try to beat that Tar Demon without dying. It's one of those boss fights.
So interesting that they put achievements in the beta. That's awesome,
dude.
Yeah,
Steam, so cool. Like I'm coming around on Steam. Like there's a lot of stuff they do. My favorite thing to do on Steam right now is, I don't know if you even use Steam, but when on Steam, if you click,
I have it. It's just that my laptop's not good enough for modern games, but I have Steam.
If you hover over your name on Steam and click activity, the feed that displays there is basically like what the original Xbox One dashboard feed was, where it just shows all the stuff your friends are doing, what games they've bought, what games they're playing, if they left a review. Like it's like a social network for all your friends on Steam.
That's when it was Windows 8, the Windows 8 version of the Xbox One UI, right?
Yeah, and I remember always going there. People, if someone made a clip, it would get posted there, or take a screen. Like it's basically like that, and I can comment on their posts, and it's basically a gaming. So I love it. I love this part of Steam, and there's all kinds of other things. I could talk about Steam all day. Maybe I'll do that later.
I am trying to get it because I was talking with Luis, Andres Plays 93, who's in kind of like in our circle. He recently got a laptop that's a 5060. And he was telling me how those things were running, and I'm like, mine is a 2060. So I'm like, if he was able to buy one of those, if I could at least get that,
5060 would be the lowest I would go.
Sure. Like because I have a 1080p monitor, though my sister is sending me a 4K monitor for my birthday.
There
from
you go.
Dell. That's 4K 120. So it's like at least I'm gonna improve my setup pretty soon. I was looking into that because I would like to engage more on Steam. Like there's just so many cool games that are just they're not on console, arrive on console so late that I would like to at least jump in. And the refund policy. That 2 hour refund policy, like I usually will know if I'm into a game or not, because sometimes I see myself after 30 minutes I know if I'm interested in something, which is weird. Like it would allow me to like play more of that, but more than that, Steam that their Steam Next Fest, the demos.
Yeah, they're fun.
I
It's really
tried that
fun.
briefly. It's so cool that I'm like, I would like to do it, because like I love the watching streamers kind of like go through the list, be like, let's try this, let's try this.
Yeah.
And it's like it's like so cool. So that's why I'm like, I don't want to be. I'm still gonna be a console peasant just out of my own convenience, but
Yeah.
I like to at least have Steam there in the background, because I'm family sharing with my brother-in-law, with my brother, so I have a massive list that it slowly keep on, because they do sometimes buy games because of so it just keeps on growing. So I'm like,
If you play at a
event-
desk and you end up somehow, some way down the road getting like a decent gaming PC, I think you'll be
mhm,
surprised how, because I've said the same things you're saying about
mhm.
consoles. You just start drifting. I'm
Yeah,
still not all
my
the way
brother,
over
yeah,
there, but
yeah,
you just start
yeah,
drifting.
you guys literally like curb stomped into that because of the no disc thing, so it accelerated you.
That
So,
was the discs were what was holding me down there for sure.
so
But yeah, Mortal Shell 2 beta is exceptional. The game itself. Oh, by the way, shout out to
it's so
PC again.
stunning. It's
Their
so stunning.
games, the games are cheaper. If I wanted to buy Mortal Shell on Xbox or PlayStation right now,
It's 50
or
bucks.
Steam in Canada anyway, it's
Mhm,
60. Oh, actually, sorry, this is a bad example because I don't think that Mortal Shell's on Fanatical, but on PC, there's different storefronts, and some of them have tax, some of them don't, some of them are cheaper, some of them like there's
mhm,
just options. Let's use Silent Hill. It's like almost $30 cheaper to buy it on Fanatical versus on Steam.
mhm.
Metal Gear is like $21 cheaper. Like you're
Yes.
just saving. So, anyways, um, the other game I want to shout out, I think I definitely talked about this somewhere before. I don't know if it was on the podcast. I can't stop like playing it. I'm not like obsessed over it, but I just like we'll go do a run like once a day in Dead
That's
Zone
on
Row.
Rogue.
I feel like it's probably a game that goes on sale often. I know it's on console. If you see it on sale, I would definitely pick it up. The
Mhm.
gunplay is so fun. Like it's just
That's the one you showed us, right? That you posted I think you posted a trailer that you asked, do you guys know about this game? I think
yes,
is this game? Yeah,
yeah,
so yeah.
yeah. So I think there's some negative reviews because some people are a little upset that they announced a sequel like shortly after this one came out. But I don't really care about that too much. I'm excited for the sequel.
Mhm.
It's just a FPS roguelite. It's co-op, which I would love to try. I haven't gotten convinced anyone to buy it yet. But you just go through rooms, shoot bad guys with guns that feel really fun to play with. You end up getting different perks with every room, like a roguelite. You end up getting these cracked builds. Like I had a gun that did high damage with low rate of fire, and then I got a perk that increased the fire rate every time you reloaded, and the magazine ended up getting to like 200 bullets, and I would shoot a one shot reload, and then there's all these like elemental triggers, and I would like you would just go in a room and just start blasting. And it's just fun. And like it's not a game that I think you would sit down and play for hours and hours and hours, but
Mhm.
just throw it on, do a run, see how far you can get. There's a story that's playing out. There's different levels, and like I said before, there's co-op. There's a meta progression system, so you get stronger after every run that you don't make it through. But the thing that I like about it so much, the reason why I glaze it so much, is just the gun plays feels really good, and it's not a
Mhm.
expensive AAA game. It's not made by id or any high
Yeah.
pedigree team. It just feels really good to play.
Yeah. Sometimes like do you know those games that as soon as you move and pull a trigger, you know something feels good?
Yeah,
It's so easy to know when something is right, and those are the kinds of games that then you just kind of keep going back and back and back. That was the thing why I pushed through Beast of Reincarnation in a way, because it's like that game has a ton of problems. Like it's too long for the kind of game it is. Definitely lost a lot of steam. You could tell that the budget ran out halfway through that game, because they literally repeat boss fights to the T, and I'm like, really? Like exact same boss fight, like later in the game, like what the heck is like what happened here? But that game is like as soon as you like swing a sword, you parry or you float and all, and just kind of like the quick movement. It's like sometimes some of those games you just kind of want to still keep giving them your time because they feel so good. When sometimes a game doesn't feel good, everything else around it has to be so good to kind of carry it. But sometimes games that just feel right on the stick can help you push through, even if everything else it's not up to par. I feel that's a reason why Destiny held me for so long, because that game just felt right from moment one, and it's like you knew a lot of that game sucked like early on, but it's like because it just felt so good in every aspect. It's something that can help you. So I can imagine that's what that's on Rogue is doing for you. It's like it just feels right enough that it's like you just kind of want to do it. So
Yeah, I mean, I would. It kind of feels a little Destiny-y with how everything's procking and popping off. It's not. It's obviously not as good as Destiny. I'm not trying to say that, but
yeah, yeah,
yeah, it's
it's
30.
gonna be
It's $30. I think it's 30
30
bucks
bucks.
Canadian. It's probably 25 US.
Mm-hmm,
Like that's full price. And like I said, it
mm-hmm.
probably goes on sale often. I would definitely check it out.
Yeah. By the way, like speaking of sales, there's something weird. Like there's an interesting thing going on Xbox where they're like buy a full game and then get other two for free of a specific list if you go to deals. Definitely go check that out if there's any game that interests you there, if you wanna buy. I'm noticing that they're more pushing the actual buy of things. I can already start seeing the slow pivot that they want to retrain people to actual purchases again instead of like depend everything on Game Pass, even though Game Pass is still there. So definitely go check that out. And kind of because those games are not a lot of those games, just a few of them are on Game Pass. Others are just like purchasable games. So definitely go there. It's like that. I feel that's kind of neat.
Yep.
So yeah. I've been playing. So I mentioned I beat literally before we started this show. I beat Beast of Reincarnation because I just kind of wanted to get it over with. Just to not let. I've been letting go of more games that I wanted to. Like I regret leaving Saros. I regret leaving Lego Batman. So it's like some games that would be like, I'll get back to you, and then we just kind of moved on because like there's no time. So I was like,
Yeah.
Beast of Reincarnation, I was like, this feels like a game that if I don't get it done now, I am never gonna get back to this because I already know it's not very good overall. But I'm glad I did. Ending is the ending is good. Like what it is I feel it's a cool story, but it's like it's confusingly told most of the time. It waits until the end to lore dump you exactly like what the whole thing is. I still think overall, like I could have seen myself liking this game more than Stellar Blade just on vibes alone, but overall I think Stellar Blade is a better game. I
Hmm.
popped it back in just to kind of feel it. I'm like, nah, Stellar Blade, it's a really good game. It's like it's gets caught up in the gooner of it all, but it's still pretty solid. And I'd say I would like for them to get another crack at doing something similar with Beast of Reincarnation because I do feel the combat and the feel of the game is the best thing about it. Everything else is just so the biome diversity was just not there. So the vibe that I loved initially, the overgrown post apocalyptic vibe, eventually you're like everything starts looking the same. So it's like that's not working for me anymore. The soundtrack is amazing, but it's only one song repeating in every different biome. So it's like it's a different song depending on the biome. But if you're stuck in a biome, you keep hearing it in loop. So it's a I would say the reviews where it landed is kind of like right. It's like in the low 70s. I think that's correct. I can see a 6.5, let's say, because it's like it's you can see a lot of the ideas. This game would have become an 8 for me if I could shave 15 hours out of the experience because it is in those 15 hours where it's like I'm barely getting any story. It's like it's feeling overly stretched. It's like it's stretching a 12 to 15-hour game into something more, and it's I hate when some games do that.
What was your total playtime?
28.
28. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I feel like this had been 12 to 15, it would have been perfect because that's as much of as the new content that you get. And I would say I was told that this game was like this is gonna be a build diversity dream. I'm like, what build diversity? There's no build diversity at all. Like the person that told me that, I'm not gonna say names. It's like it's clear that he just doesn't.
I think I know who it was.
So it's like um it's like he doesn't understand like what that means. Obviously, there's a lot of abilities you can deck out with your coup, but the game doesn't have fun synergies. It's like you can find like the 6 abilities that feed the most, and you just keep spamming them like as you do the parry, which is kind of like what builds the thing. So it's like I can see how they could build more synergy in the future. But with the lack of weapon diversity, it's literally just a sword. Sometimes some swords have special elements. Like I did one that did fire, and how you proc certain elements, you have to do the parry, and that procs the element. And I could start shooting fire. I love doing that because I just love fire elements in games because it's like that damage over time. How you can proc that in certain enemies. So I love doing that. And then later in the game, I switched to a sword that recharges your health on parry and on attack. So that helped me kind of like balance like the healing and all that. But it made the rest of the game a cakewalk on normal difficulty. So definitely like bump up the difficulty if you feel like the game is. I would say this game is definitely in the easier side for this kind of parrying action style games. But it will at least be accessible to few. But the story, it's a great premise. It's a bad story because it's just not well told. It's so stilted. Especially like in definitely hearing in Japanese. Japanese is the best way to hear this because yes, the voice acting. There's a story reason why your main character is so stilted. That still doesn't make it a compelling story because it's still stilted. I don't care what the intent is.
Yeah.
And some of the boss fights are cool. I just wish there were more. And some of them have really, really screwy parry windows, I'll say. It's like I was like, how am I supposed to parry this? It's like you feel like you're clipping on like just this Taurus kind of like beast is trying to hit you with like with the horns that you're parrying, but it's like clipping. And I'm like, am I getting the parry or no? What is going on here? It's like there's a few things that they have not refined quite yet. Whereas in other beasts that are more like that are more physical, you can actually nail like the parry. Though it becomes very predictable. Almost every enemy attacks the same. So it's like, oh, here's a samurai looking good. He's about to do the unsheath thing. So it's like you can learn, like you basically learn all the patterns so quickly. So it's like that. It's just gonna depend on you remembering everything. So it's like it's definitely half horror formed ideas that I hope a sequel with more time and money would allow them to, because I feel there's talent within it. It's like again, it feels really good, and I'm glad that performance wise has been ironed out completely. I still stand by what I said. I think I said it last week. I finished it on pro. Waste of a version for me. Beyond just playing on a better controller, I don't think this game.
Oh, allegedly.
It's like it's
allegedly better controller.
Exactly. Like if you prefer L1, depending, it depends. It's again, mileage may vary. I preferred the bigger L1 for parry heavy games. If you're fine with Xbox, I tell you, it's like now that it's fixed, definitely this is the game for Game Pass. Damn me with a praise, but it's like it's what it is. And I am now reviewing also a game that I can't quite say yet, but you'll know next week too. That's kind of my next thing, and something that I'm gonna be playing on stream because the previous got me in a certain way. I am gonna go back to X-Men Origins Wolverine. I just bought a splitter like that actually is gonna let me like use my Elgato on my PS3. So I'm gonna.
How much did you have to pay for that game?
I've owned it forever. Oh, this is my 2009. Yeah, it's my 2009 copy. I just had it, found it in my keeper of so many PS3.
Oh my god, that makes me sad to see one of those. Yeah, I bought. I wonder if I don't think there were seats in the box. I bought that game
on 360, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like not that long ago, and it was. I think. Oh, hold on. I'll tell you what I paid. $80.
Yeah,
$79.99. I bought it in 2024, and it's worth almost 50% more than that now.
Oh, so you bought it kind of like later on. I got this at launch.
Yeah, this was. I bought this at like a pawn shop, like 2024 for $80. Just for reference, like almost all these games I bought for like $10 because like 360 games were so cheap for a while. $80. And I also got the Cybertron game, which was half price because it was BOGO, buy one get one half. That's why I did it. But the Cybertron game was also $80. It's crazy. Yeah. These licensed games,
also,
man.
Yeah, I have it here.
Yeah, I don't think I have the second Cybertron one.
I have the second one. I was able to buy it when they posted them on PS4 and Xbox One. like briefly in 2016. I had never bought it, so when it launched as a port, the same kind of quality port that we got with Black Ops, Activision loves doing that. Like just put the most bare ass like file save as 1080p ports. That's how I got Fall for Cybertron, because I was like, I am not missing this one. I'm not I missed it the first time.
And
but yeah, like the Wolverine previews got me a certain kind of way. So I'm like, let's remember how this game was, because I enjoyed X-Men Origins Wolverine back in the. In fact, as soon as I saw that Insomniac was gonna do Wolverine, I immediately was like, let's see how they compare to this one. So I'll be streaming that sometime after I'm done playing through the Metal Gears, which I've also been doing. But hey, good thing that discs exist.
Yeah, I was going to say that if whatever game that is currently out that's like this, that you want to play this amount of time down the road, you're not going to be able to.
Yeah, because otherwise they get listed. Another game that I bought for $10 recently.
Yeah, you can't play that without a disc. Yeah,
exactly. And then another one that somehow I also got for $10 that for some reason wasn't made back compat. Harvey 2, the 40th day.
Is the other one? Isn't the other one back compat though? Like the
original, the original, like first one is back compat. This one isn't, and Devil's Cartel is, and then I found it for $10. I'm like, I would like that just for completion's sake. I heard it's bad, so
yeah,
it's I
buy a lot of games that are bad that I just think are fun, like Deadly Premonition. Oh, that game is great.
And then games that recently got delisted.
Yeah.
Like I'm glad that I have them. I can at least play the campaigns now here.
Yeah, I'm glad I have all of these for the exact same reason. In 20 years, like, anyways, we don't have to go on that tangent again.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll have hopefully more to say of games next week whenever we play. So
yeah, I think
my embargo thing is gonna have to wait for 2 weeks based on when we're recording.
I think my embargo is actually up the day after. Okay, this is not
actually because we post Thursday. I think I may be able to talk about it by the time, because it's a Thursday release.
Yeah, so I'll have to do some math. I'm pretty sure the embargo for Game of Thrones is the day after Gamescom, and I'm pretty sure that this is not an embargo break. I'm pretty sure that they released a trailer that said they're going to be at Gamescom. I don't know if it's on Opening Night Live. Probably is the gameplay reveal. So far, if you've been following this game, which I don't think many people that are listening to this probably are, because RTS is not really their jam, but so far all that most people have seen is a CG trailer, which is fantastic. By the way, I can't say anything. Damn it. The CG trailer that they released last at the Game Awards, I believe, it's fantastic. If you like Game of Thrones, but the gameplay reveal, I think, is at Gamescom based on what the trailer they released teased. I think the day after that, I can talk about my experience.
Yeah. Actually, I just checked my embargo based on when we post. I'll be able to talk about it next week, because thanks for when we're posting it. So.
All right. I'll find out if I can before we record. Obviously, I think I probably am safe too.
Yeah. I'm looking at it right now, the guide. So, that's all I know, but that's it. I'll definitely have more to say.
Sweet. Well, this is we're close.
Kind of. Yeah,
we're 17 minutes over, but that's a huge improvement. Pat on the back. But yeah, this is a little bit of a light news week, but still lots of fun stuff to talk about. Again, thanks Alex for joining me here. I think you will probably be here going forward. Is there anything that you want to say about where people can find your Wolverine stream?
Yeah, they can find it at twitch.tv/The Slayer Giant, where you can find me also as The Slayer Giant on Twitter and Blue Sky, where I usually post links to whenever I go to streams. And usually I like retweeting stuff. Today I made a post that the streets are going to celebrate when Herman Holst is kicked out of that building. So sometimes I do snarky stuff like that. And you can find my written content over at seasongaming.com. So that's where you can find me, and join the Slayer Giants Discord. I'm slowly growing a community there about like things that I stream and other stuff happening. So
sweet. And the links to all that stuff will be posted in the comments below. I will also have a written review of Game of Thrones, or not review, a written preview of what I experienced with Game of Thrones on Season Gaming as well. You can check that out. The Discord for Season Gaming, there's a feed in there that has all the articles that go out. Definitely worth joining and checking that out. Other than that, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, we want to get to 500 subscribers. So like, subscribe, share, all the fun stuff. If you hated this episode, like it anyway out of spite. Subscribe out of spite. It's great. Trust me, that will get your message across. But anyways, this has been Game Positive Podcast. I'll talk to you later. Remember to have fun.
Hasta la vista, baby.